trial number 4 is against this really cool looking, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like an aquatic yokai spirit thing. I don't know what to call it, man, but it's trial number 4. I actually think this thing is really interesting. It's got a pretty cool soundtrack. I mean, here, take a quick listen, I guess. So it's chill. Nothing too crazy, but it's alright. The boss is pretty cool overall. I actually think it's one of the more interesting ones just because it's this big massive thing. It's a little hard because it is big and massive, and that leads to some questionable hitboxes that if you want to pause on some of these deaths, especially the ones I zoom in on at any point in this video, you're gonna see some very questionable hitboxes where I probably shouldn't have been hit by it, but that's just the nature of action games, is you're gonna have moments like that. Especially these big-bodied characters, they probably don't bother trying to make 100% accurate hitboxes when they're just ridiculously large. And all their moves cover the entire goddamn screen, the entire goddamn arena anyway, so like, I don't know, man. It was at this point that I actually started to get a little more comfortable with using some of the mobility moves in the blood form. I like using the dual katanas. I don't know, there's something about them that are really fun, really cool. They're flashy, they're the first weapon you get, they're stylish. I feel like the blood form has the most, I guess, straightforward moveset on it. So I think it's like easiest to sort of pick up and run with rather than trying to learn all these intricate moves and combos and whatnot. Eventually I am able to take this thing down, and it didn't take me all that long actually. The second phase is pretty interesting because in these trials you usually don't have any, or I guess bosses in general, they usually don't have ads. So phase 2 of this boss introduces little mobs that they throw in. When he lays on his back like this, by the way, it's a very large hitbox. You don't really want to get hit by that. But the nice thing with having ads in the fight is when you do your finisher moves and like, you know, you get your super bloody, gory finisher, you're ripping limbs off and whatnot. That builds up that meter down there with the purple bar faster. I don't remember what it's called. It's like your blood mode or something. I don't know. But you can stagger enemies with your charged attacks. So it's actually kind of good switching to like the hammer one, for instance, because it's kind of quick. But it also gives you a finishing move, which you'll see me do a slide, and that's not intentional. I wanted to do that finisher because it's like a huge chunk of damage, which is one cool thing about this fight. You get ads, so you can actually build that gauge kind of reliably and then get a huge amount of damage off of it. No, not in my case though, because I screwed up. I slid on accident. You kind of have to come just to a standstill and then push in both sticks. But if you only were to push in the left stick while you're running, or you push in the left stick first, I guess, you do a slide, so it just leaves you a sitting duck and you kind of just get blown up out of nowhere. And that's Trial 5. Trial 6. Now, I complained about sorry, I have it all mixed up. That was Trial 4. This is Trial 5. Now, I complained about Trial 3, about how I think that monster, that guy, that enemy, that yokai, whatever the hell you want to call the thing, was my least favorite boss in the game, and it sucked. Its music wasn't even, like, all that interesting. It just wasn't a good time. You would think I probably didn't like this one, because it's another just ranged-focused boss. But the more I fought it, the more I actually kind of started to like it. I don't know why. Its moves are better telegraphed, I would say, compared to that other boss. It's not the most interesting enemy, of course. The music is a goddamn banger, though. Listen to it. It doesn't get any more peak than that. That is just the sickest metalcore riffs you're ever gonna hear. It is so awesome. Anyway, yeah, I actually don't mind fighting this boss. Wait, this is the first boss you encounter, I believe, after you get the shuriken weapon, so you are meant to kind of fight him at range and deal with him at range and whatnot. Or at least it feels like that's what the intended way is. But I found actually playing up close in melee is a pretty fun and good strategy too, so after some deaths I started actually playing a little more loosey-goosey and getting up in its face and all. Overall, it's really not too hard of a fight. It actually feels kind of fair, kind of balanced. It doesn't feel like you're getting cheesed out by anything too much. I mean, its turret attack can feel pretty cheesy. I can only imagine what that's like on Master Ninja. I don't mean the big laser beam, but when it's just shooting out all the machine guns, because it just chips your health. I'm not really sure how you avoid damage on that besides just holding block, and that's lame as hell. But maybe you're supposed to just clash with it, because you do regen like your red health when you're attacking enemies. At least that's what I've been noticing since reviewing the footage. But other than that move, this feels alright. I guess the only other one that gets a little annoying is in phase 2. We'll do these big sweeping like circle attacks that can be really annoying because he just runs into you over and over, and yeah, it's an unblockable thing, so if you try to block it, it guard crushes you, and then he just gets free hits, and that's a bit annoying in my opinion. But the big sell for me, and probably the biggest reason I like this fight, is just the music. It's so peak, man. I don't say that often. It's so peak. And that's kind of this game in general. It's like, damn, that's so peak. It's aura farming the game. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a really fun time when you start getting into the groove. When you lock in and hit the flow state, this has to be one of the most satisfying games to do that in. I'm gonna be totally honest here, unbiased. Actually, it's entirely biased, but when you hit that flow state and you're just hitting your combos and you're pressing all the right buttons and you're getting your perfect blocks and you're getting your perfect evasions, this game feels so good. I mean, look at all the chaos on the screen right now. When you just start trying to like dodge stuff, and I know I just died there and I'm reviving, but when you get in the flow state and you start dodging stuff and you bob and weave and you're actually getting in hits and whatnot, oh, it's so good! I can definitely understand why that might be someone's least favorite boss, though. Now, here we are. Where are we at? Trial 6? Pretty sure it's Trial 6. This guy, got on my nerves a little bit. He's not crazy hard, but I did die quite a bit to him. I think my fastest death might have been while fighting this guy, at least so far in my editing, because I don't know why. There's something about him that's just kind of weird. Honestly, he reminds me of Liza P. I don't know why. I guess just the aesthetic of him. He's kind of like one of the bosses towards the end of the game in Liza P. So that's interesting. I think this boss you normally fight during Ryu's campaign, so you don't normally fight him with Yakumo. Maybe that's why I find him a little bit strange. But here's where I think I might have had my most embarrassing quickest death. Yeah, 17 seconds, pretty quick. Again, the hitboxes on this guy. Yeah, look at this. Look, wow. Looking back at this footage, I was livid for my previous self, because I don't think previous me realized how awful that hitbox was. But I got scammed. He kicked my goddamn ass so many times until I finally just locked the hell in and decided I'm gonna kill this fucking guy because I was sick of dying over and over again. You can tell I was so locked in there, man. It was disappointing watching this back and seeing I died there, because I was in that flow state I was talking about. And I was killing him, bro. But all good things come to an end eventually. And you see I start using more of the tech in the blood form as mobility to move around, utilizing those moves. I think a big thing as I was learning throughout was just how to utilize different weapons. I didn't really use different ones during these first couple of trials. I think I have like a day where I played about 3 hours straight and just started experimenting with some more stuff in the harder trials and whatnot, which you'll see very soon. But one of the big things I did want to try to learn was maximizing mobility around these different enemies and whatnot. Because your blood mode, you can get these really good mobility tactics, and they help a ton when you start utilizing them. Yeah, I was using items for this. I got pretty tired of losing. But eventually I got there. Challenge complete. And at the end of that trial, I was sitting pretty at 45 deaths so far, with many, many more to come.